Hello everyone, my name is Kara Brown. I am an urban fantasy author, and I am the author of the book of the cover that you see right in front of you. I'm super excited to see it. Anyway, I thought while I was sitting here that I would actually go over something that occasionally I get asked about, which is having to do the promotional images for Twitter and Instagram. And since I'm sitting here starting to hammer this out right now, what better time to go over it with you, right? Thing I do want to make clear before we progress forward is that this really isn't a complete like how to do this seminar. I'm going to be doing a lot more of that in Lisa Daly's stream coming up this week. And what I want to really do is kind of show you the amount of work and effort that goes into making some of these promotional items. If you think about a lot of the places that do this mock-up imagery, they make it look easy because they already have templates that are established, but if you're doing this yourself, it does take a little bit of time and effort. And I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed, but I do want you to see kind of what you're getting into when it comes to making these images and the aesthetics and all that stuff. So I am going to go over how to do a lot of this as best I can and as clear as I can. Now, I am going to be really honest with you. I am using Clip Studio Paint program, which is what I use to edit and alter my photos. It's kind of like an artistic version of Photoshop. I really like it. You do not need this. You could probably do a lot of this with like Microsoft Paint if you're really creative, but don't feel intimidated when you see a lot of what I'm doing, and hopefully I can show you a couple of workarounds so that way you don't have to stress about it. But let's just start from the beginning and go from there. So first things first, get a cover. As you can see, I have a cover right here, and then after that you can either go ahead and jump straight into Canva, or you can get some images in order to kind of help with the aesthetic. Now, the one website that I actually do want to point out to when it comes to making the aesthetic is going to be Image Apothocary, and let me find that bad boy real quick. So this is the Image Apothecary, and it's basically a place that has stock photos that you can replace images with your book on, and I personally love it. As soon as I found out about it, I pretty much come here about once a month and I buy 1 to 3 things. And do track your purchases that you make on this site so that way you can claim it back on your taxes if you need to. So again, just financial thing. I should probably talk about taxes at some point. Leave a comment down below if you want me to talk about taxes. But these are all pretty much themed, and they got a little bit of everything. So, and you can click on dark and moody, and then within those themes they're going to have more themes. And so right now we're just looking at the dark and moody collection. So if we wanted to click on stars align right here, it's going to show you all the stock photos that you can use to replace your photo with. Oh man, I want that one. Hold please. And you can basically right here where the screen is, you can replace that with your book cover. And I need y'all to give me a minute because I really have to buy that. Okay, so there's the Image Apothecary with the cover that I just showed you, but then there is another website that I want to show you guys, and it's called the DIYbookcovers.com, and they've got a section in there for 3D mockups, and you can either do them as single or you can do them as a group together. And if you're trying to get like that fancy looking cover thing that you usually see folks do, this is pretty much going to be the place that you do it. And the one thing I really want to point out is that this website is free 50. Free 50. You can come in here and do the mock-ups, and you can either save it as a PNG, or you can save it as a JPNG, whatever you want to do. I usually do the PNGs because those are transparent. I can put them over other things, which I will show you how to do later. And super easy thing to do. Let's see. I really want one that's just straight, but I don't think I'm gonna win that fight, so we'll just work through this. You come in here and you find your cover. And then you have to hit upload because it won't do it by itself. Ha ha ha. And then you say yes, you hit next, and then this is where you select the 2 files that you want. Like I said, I picked this one because I need the transparent background. And you wait a couple seconds while it renders and prepares the file for you, and then bim bam boom, there it is. And it looks a lot like this. So it's got like the little book spinal thing right here, and I can put that over a photo, which I'm going to show you guys how to do in a little bit. But let's go ahead and go back to when you actually do have these photos. Okay, so I'm not going to show you how to do every one of these because it's just not going to be that kind of video, but I am going to show you kind of pretty much an easy peasy way to do it. So I've got the one stock that I bought, and then I've also got obviously my cover right here. I'm just going to go ahead and copy my cover, and then a lot of you are going to ask about how exactly are you going to do whatever it is that you're going to do. Literally what I do is I just take this tool and I cut out the screen. Like, that's all I do. I know that there's somebody probably who's watching this going like, no, Caro, there's other easier ways to do it. And I'm sure that there is. And you can leave that tip down below and I'll catch up on it later, but it was just, this is usually what works really well for me. So let's find the cover, which is hiding in the screen over there. And then we are going to transform that sucker, which is another way to say that you're going to move it around. And then you've got that sucker on there. You do want to pay attention to how it aligns up. I can usually tell if somebody's not paying attention to how their cover is lining up with everything else. I usually look and see if there's a border and if it matches the side of the screen and everything else, and I already see that there's a problem, but that's fine. Tell you what, you guys don't need to see me nitpick this, so hold please. Okay, so a fuck ton of nitpicking later, and this is pretty much what it's going to look like. And I usually will save it as the editing file, so that way if I have a different cover, I can just come back in and change this out, and it will be fine. And yeah, that's pretty much one way to do it. Now, the other way that you can do it, let's say that you want to use one of these templates that you made right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that pin, and I'm going to go, let's see. This seems like a good guy. Let's see what that's gonna look like. Oh, that looks not too bad. Ooh, look at that shit. Sorry, I'm having a geek moment. This is stuff I love to do. And you can do that. And you can go ahead and save that too. So, I mean, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm having a moment. I really do like how this looks. Okay, so nerdgasm over. Once you go ahead and you have about as many of these stock photos as it is that you want to have, you're going to go ahead and save them, you know, as the file, as the JMP that you're going to need, because at this point you're going to go ahead and upload it to Canva. So give me a couple seconds while I go ahead and do all that transfer stuff. Okay, so we're in Canva, and as you can see, I kind of already went in here and I started playing around. I was mostly testing out the PNGs to see how they would look if I uploaded them to Kindle. They work really good, by the way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play with a few of the you know, the stock up photos that I made, and I want to see if I can get them to look like however I want. Now what you do want to do, you can, now once you have these photos here, you can do whatever you want. I typically like to make them so that way there is a little bit of space for me to put some text here and always have a link in the bio kind of thing going on. And you can pretty much just do that however you want. Now sometimes people will actually just upload these like this, and they will and then they'll just kind of leave it like that and put all the chit chat in the bottom. And again, that's kind of depends on how you want to do it. There's really not a wrong answer for that, so I really wouldn't worry about it at all. So I'm just letting you guys see kind of what I'm doing here, because what I want people to see is I want them to see obviously the cover and the picture and whatever part of the aesthetic that I want to share. I really do like that one because that's actually really fitting. But now it's too big. And you're going to experiment and you're going to find what works really well for you. And one thing that you can do is if you have a group of friends who are into the genre that you're reading, you can show them some of these promo images and you can say, hey, what do you think about this? And get their feedback on it. In fact, I would actually really encourage you to do that. So we'll go ahead and put this one over. And again, you always want to make it really clear what your photo is about, which is about your book. And so you want to make sure that that's a thing. Okay, so we're pretty much done with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to show you how to use some of the default photos here in Canva and what you can do with that. So let's see, creepy forest. Let's see what they got. You will get a hit or miss on this, by the way. Sometimes it's got the stuff and sometimes it doesn't. It's hard to say. And if you don't already have a subscription to it, some of these are going to cost you, like these are all going to cost me if I want them, as you can see from this watermark here. One thing that you can do is you can see if there's a free option there, which there's not going to be for what I'm looking for. So we're just going to take the creepy part out of it because I don't have that kind of budget right now. I'm working on a free 50 budget. And I'm going to see what I can work with. That looks kind of creepy. We're going to go with that. And then I can actually use this. And this is where the transparent background thing I mentioned before is going to really come into effect. And you can put that right there, and then you can go ahead and add all your words on the top. I really like how that looks. I'm very happy with that. So let me see what else we got here. Scroll, 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 scroll. I need some more scrolls. That's not gonna work. So let's do haunted house. Creepy and haunted house. You guys seeing a theme here? Okay, so I went and did a bit more tweaking, and I actually did change out a couple photos. Just because I do want the same aesthetic in some shape or form. So one thing I do want to show you is that you can actually come in here and you can mess with the pictures by changing the filter that's on them. So right here there's a filter, and you can change how that image is going to look. Now it's going to change your cover if you have it all in one picture like the stock photo that I edited, but you can come in there and you can do a little bit of everything about what's going to work best for what you're doing. I actually don't like doing that with any of these, so let's try this one. Ignore that ding in the background. Um, but when you have ones like this where you have your JPN over the actual stock photo and you go and you change the background photo, then it's not going to change your cover, which is what I'm looking for. Oh, that is very nice. That's staying. Let's take a look here. Why is everybody trying to talk to me all right now? Oh my goodness. Nordic. Maybe. Oh yeah, that's got to stay. That's beautiful. Won't be able to change that one. Definitely can't change that one. That's a stock. I already changed that one. You know what? Let's take a look at this photo because I don't know if I like that filter. None. Oh, see, it looks better with the colors. Do I want to mute it a little bit? Let's see what's gonna go really well. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so yeah, and so you can go in there and you can change whatever the filter that it came with as well. Oh man, these look really good. Okay, so one thing I do want to point out is that this probably took 5 minutes of you watching, but I've actually been doing this for like the last hour, and that's me obviously coming in and changing the stock photos and then getting these mock-up images ready. So when you sit down to do this, it's gonna be a little bit of an endeavor. I'm just letting y'all know. And I've only done these are only these are only the Instagram and Facebook images. I have not even done the Twitter stuff yet. Oh, I guess I should show you how to do that too. Okay, I do encourage you to actually do make Twitter-sized posts just because some people do like to use like the basic square and sometimes that works, but if you really want the most bang for your buck, using the default settings is going to take you a little bit farther. So I am pretty notorious for always going with this bad boy right here just because it's easier for me. And I gotta zoom out again. So go right here, I'm gonna go to 50 and I'm gonna zoom out and put that right there. Okay, perfect. And I'm gonna come back and change the wording in a minute, but I just kind of want to show you guys what I'm doing here. So let's see, photos, nope, I want a template. And like you guys can see here, there's plenty of templates. I'm just always trying to find the one that's gonna work best with getting my message across and showing a visual aesthetic at the same time. Okay, so I started getting a little bit further into this and I realized I was doing a bit more editing that I thought you guys might want to actually watch me do. So, and keep in mind, kind of what you're trying to do with a lot of these images is you're trying to basically you're trying to get your point across without dilly-dallying around the fact too much. And sometimes this involves you needing to move things around. So if you take a look right here, whenever I move the box, it changes everything in the box, and that's not what I want. And you need to pay attention to when things are grouped like that. So if you change one thing, it changes all of it. And what you can do is right up here where it says ungroup, you can hit that, and basically all those boxes that are tied to each other are going to go away. So there was originally like a whole bunch of text in here that I didn't need. But what I am going to do is I'm going to shrink all that down to the appropriate size, because if I need to change that later, it's a lot easier. And then I am going to put that right there. And, you know, that's not a bad image. I can work with that. And maybe lift that up a little bit more. Perfect. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy right there. Now, you can also, as you can see here, I just used a generic background with nothing else going on. Looks a little boring, I know. But the reason I did that is because I wanted to come over here to the text templates here and see which one was probably going to work better. I always do these ones. I'm pretty notorious for this too. Oh, you know what? Never mind. That's not going to work. I need something that's going to be more square. So let's... Okay, so I'm mostly happy with all of these except this one right here. This one. And I don't know if it's because of the filter or something else, but I'm not a fan of this right now, and it may need some tweaking, so I just kind of want to show you, again, kind of a lot of the effort that can go into making this sometimes. Maybe what I need to do is because this font is not standing out as well as I would like it to, and that may just be the type of font that I'm using as well. So we can come in here and we can kind of test it out, because you do want whatever you make to be easy to read. You don't want it to be hard. Um, how easy is that? That's a little easier, but I still don't like it. Let's try a trick I usually like to do when I'm struggling with this. And I know you're all like, Kara, what are you doing? You're covering up all the words. Are you making another box thing? We're tired of the box thing. You've already done that like so many times. Like, I know, guys. I know. I get it. We're gonna go to position because I want to go backwards. Yep, that's where I want to go backwards at. And instead of leaving it that solid black color, I'm actually gonna make it a little bit darker. And I can actually read it a lot better, and I like that a lot more. But of course now there is that kind of weird intrusive line looking thing, but I can fix that too. I feel like I should be on like one of those shows like, I can fix that, I can play that, I can do that. Let's see. Makes me sound like a Ravenclaw. And I don't want white, I want it to be dark. Like that. You know, we're just gonna go ahead and run with it. Here we go. Yeah, so again, you guys can do these too. It's super easy, and I hope you guys found this a little bit useful. Now, on Canva, there is a lot more that you can do with this. I've used this for book covers, I've used this for bookmarks, I've used this for a lot of things, and I know I only spent this movie really talking about how to tweak the profiles in here when it comes to making your book promo stuff, but I really hope that you found this useful. Now, a lot of the stuff in here is free, and there's a lot that you can do with it being free. I would really encourage a lot of you to just jump in here, try it out, see what you can create, see what you can do. They're still doing their Valentine's Day stuff, but that's going to go away pretty soon because Easter's coming. We're going to see a lot of eggs and bunnies on this site pretty soon. But if you use this website, I would definitely be very curious about your experience with it, what you have found useful, what you have not found useful. Feel free to share that below. If there is any questions that you may have about kind of what I've done here, feel free to leave those below, and I can always make another video where I talk more in depth about that. But yeah, so that's going to be it. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching me make my promo stuff for my book that's coming back out. And I'll talk to y'all again real soon.